Hola, bienvenidos a otra sesión de Satchel Classes. Soy Mr. Castrillón and I would like to welcome you to another session here on Satchel Classes. Today's title, Compraría un piso, is intended to help lots of key stage 4 students who would like to improve their sentences and their texts when they're speaking in Spanish and when they're writing in Spanish. Hoy vamos a repasar verbos en infinitivo con diferentes terminaciones. Vamos a aprender el tiempo condicional en español. Vamos a emplear la estructura sí para practicar el condicional. Y vamos a completar y traducir textos al inglés y al español. First of all, we are going to practice our pronunciation. Today's exercise has to do with O and that symbol, which is tilde. Now, that means that the sound of O is going to be slightly longer than the other letters or vowels that you have in the word. For instance, in this case, the word is going to sound corazón, corazón. You extend the O, the last one, and that makes the last one to be or to stand out amongst the other vowels. Another example, acróbata, acróbata. Afónico, afónico. Presión, presión. Impresión, impresión. So as you can see, we extend the sound a little bit. I'm going to repeat, and then you can repeat after me. Corazón, acróbata, afónico, presión, impresión. Now I'm going to give you 60 seconds to work out the meaning of each one of those words. And our time is up. We have the meanings here. Heart, acrobat, horse, pressure, and impression. Now then, we are going to be talking about infinitives, and we need to match the following phrases. Ayudar a la gente sin hogar, cenar en restaurantes lujosos, comprar un coche, comprar una casa, donar a organizaciones benéficas, ir al exterior, viajar alrededor del mundo. Now the options are here. Off you go. And our time is up. Now, I hope that by now you know what this is about. And these are all things that we would do if we had the money. So here we go. Check your answers and also take pictures or screenshot the slides so you can get a lot of vocabulary to take with you and to use it at school. Now then, our next exercise is to explain el condicional. Now then, to form the conditional tense in Spanish, we have to add one of the following endings to the infinitive form of the verb. So, for instance, we are going to use the verb ayudar, which is help or to help. So, if I want to say I would help, well, all I need to do is add ia at the end and check that tilde. That means that you are going to extend or extend that sound a little bit. You ayudaría. Tú ayudarías. Él, ella ayudaría. Nosotros ayudaríamos. Vosotros ayudaríais. Ellos ayudarían. So this is how we form the conditional tense in Spanish. Now we have these sentences here, these phrases, and our mission is basically to look at them, and we are going to translate these sentences into English. So keep an eye on what we are doing. Now look at the ending and relate the ending to the pronoun, like in this case. I'm just going to go back with my previous slides. As you can see here, we have the infinitives, and those infinitives are the ones that need to be linked with each one of the endings. Now, the endings depend a lot on the pronoun, which is the verb or the word, sorry, that goes before the verb. So, in the first case, for instance, we say, yo ayudaría a la gente sin hogar, and that means I would help homeless people. So, let's try and do that. Here, we are going to translate these sentences into English. Remember that the ending is telling you who is doing the activity. Off you go. And our time is up. Before I give you the answers, I would like to emphasize the point that all of these sentences are advanced sentences. You're using a very advanced tense in Spanish, which is conditional, because that is going to give us access to a much more complex sentence, which we are going to analyze today. Now, the answers for this are going to be as follows. The first one is we would help. And we know that because we are using the ending íamos, which is here. The next one is you would dine. And we know that because the ending is ias, which is related to you. They would buy a car. We know that because the ending is ian, which is here. I would buy a house. Yo compraría. Once again, here I know that it is me because I'm using I. So my ending is ia. My father would donate, would be mi padre donaría. So that's going to be él, ella, third person singular. My family and I would go abroad. In this case, we are going to use iríamos, IAMOS. And this is because I'm including the group and it's we. And finally, you would travel around the world. That would be vosotros viajaríais alrededor del mundo. Now, these are sentences, all of them in conditional tense. Now, what if we wanted to make it even more complex? We can improve our conditional sentences with an if clause. Check this example. Si yo me ganara la lotería, ayudaría a la gente sin hogar. So look at that sentence. It's very long. We have lots of things, but in actual fact, we have two sentences in one. We have one sentence, which is the conditional one, and then we have something that is followed by an if clause or a si clause. Now, this in English means, or in Spanish means, if I won the lottery, I would help homeless people. So notice how that one in Spanish is very interesting. It has a very strange conjugation or kind of a structure. And that is because the if clause is written in an advanced tense, which is subjunctive imperfect. You don't need to know this, like the technical name, but it's good that if you want to explore or research or investigate a bit more, feel free to ask your teacher and they will give you a lot more information about it. Now, what I would like you to do is I would like you to translate the following clauses into English. Si yo me ganara, si tú te ganaras, si él se ganara, si nosotros nos ganáramos, si vosotros os ganarais, si ellos se ganaran. I'm going to give you a few minutes to do so. Off you go. And our time is up. The answers are really simple. If I won is the first one. The next one would be if you won. The next one is if he won. Then this is if we won. And if you won, and that's for plural. And finally, if they won. So as you can see, it's very straightforward. And all we need to do in Spanish is basically change some endings. And that's our subjunctive imperfect. It's a great tense to use when you're talking about conditional sentences. Feel free to ask your teacher for more information about this, because the subjunctive is a very important mode or form in Spanish. Now then, the next activity is going to be really tricky. We need to write, and we are going to use a conditional, and we are going to add any of these ones, any of these clauses, depending on the sentence. And we are going to add la lotería to that sentence. In other words, we are going to say, for instance, si yo me ganara la lotería, and then we need to add the ending. However, be very careful, because the ending is going to tell you which type of if clause you need in order to make a correct logical sentence. Off you go. Remember to take pictures of these slides. You can get lots of information out of it. But also feel free to come back and watch the video again, so you can take as many notes as you need and you can. And our time is up. Let's have a look at the answers. There we go. Feel free to take a picture of this. It's really good to have as part of your toolkit for success in Spanish. In the meantime, muchos éxitos y muchas gracias.